Welcome to Teaching Tuesdays with Buko Couture. Today we posted our post was about functional buttonholes. And a little bit of history about functional buttonholes is it started in the 1800s with the military working towards unbuttoning their sleeves to take care of patients so they didn't get their sleeves dirty and they always looked very pristine. That actually carried over into the 1900s, where doctors would unbutton their sleeves to go into the operating room. And it's funny because it was used as a sign of statue, or where doctors ranked. So now surgeon sleeves are now also called functional buttonholes. And a lot of times you won't see functional buttonholes on ready-made garments. One of the main reasons is if you look at this sleeve, we actually have to prepare it for functional buttonholes because 90% of the people out there have one shoulder lower than the other. So to get the right sleeve length, and we've discussed this in previous Teaching Tuesdays, is when you measure from the thumb up, that kind of gives you a basis of where your sleeve would be, how much shirt you want to show, how much cuff you want to show. So if you don't do that right and you look at the person, these sleeves will actually look off. So when it comes to custom, we actually prep up the sleeve. So in case we have to shorten it or lengthen it, we can put the buttonholes at a certain point from the bottom of the cuff up is a certain amount of area. So after you have a finished product on your functional buttonholes, a lot of times people will go with 4 buttonholes. And if you can see this, I'm just looking down at the camera. This is completed, done for functional buttonholes. Some of the nice characteristics you could do is you could do different color buttonholes to add some character to your jacket. Another thing is the positioning of the buttons. So this we call overlocking, which means that the buttons kind of overlap each other. And this would be considered kissing. So the buttons actually touch each other. What you'll see here is there's more of a gap, and it looks like there's a lot more room on your functional buttonhole sleeve. Most people, I kind of tell people nowadays, you may want to unbutton 2, even though you can do 5 or 4. When you open up the bottom 2, it kind of just gives it a richer look. It's nothing that people would see on the normal jacket. So these are 2 variations. Just checking here so you could see. 2 variations. You have overlocking and you have kissing when it comes to functional buttonholes. Some of the things we do on our custom suits is we actually add the lining to the sleeve, so it gives you even more character when that sleeve is open. So you could go as fancy with your linings as what you see in this jacket here, or you could go pretty simple, conservative, and stick with your just basic linings. So it's great when you're doing a suit. You should always ask for functional buttonholes. Again, it just takes your suit or sport jacket or blazer up to another level. And if you have some older garments, we actually have the ability to make it functional, so you can make the older jacket look kind of newer. So just as a recap, functional buttonholes can be done on ready-made garments, but it takes a lot of work. But when you're getting a custom, you always want to make sure that you do have functional buttonholes. And just, which do you prefer? Do you prefer it to overlock, which means that the buttons are overlapping each other? Or do you prefer it to be just kissing? And you could do 4 or 5 buttonholes. 5 buttonholes, when you're taller, kind of gives a little bit more characteristics. And 4 buttonholes would kind of look like this one, just with the first buttonhole. Or you could do all your buttonholes in one color. Something that may come in and may go out, so kind of be careful with that. And if you're going to do it on your sleeve, you should really always do it on your lapel as well. So kind of always match your lapel to your buttonholes down below. Either do it solid or add some character to it, and pick a nice color that would make it pop. What I tend to do is find a color either in the stripe or the window pane, or if it's a solid, pick a color that really gives it that pop as you're walking down the street. So just to recap on functional buttonholes is it started back in the early 1800s and carried on to today. It's a sign of a quality garment. Don't forget to check out our blog on functional buttonholes. It's more in depth on the history of a functional buttonhole. And don't forget to check us out on, of course, Facebook, Instagram. And our website is bucco.us. That's bucco.us. We look forward to next week. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed week.